Hey Tyrants, welcome to the crew. I'm Sea Lord Janda, and this is my Let's Play of Tyranny. We have just finished talking with the archons, and now we're going to have a look around the Disfavored camp. Emphasis then turns back to his maps. Okay, so they straight hate each other. We're not going to get them to like each other anytime soon. Bad guy infighting, always worse than the original problem somehow. Okay. Journal. What do we have currently? Battle of Echo Call Crossing. We must take Echo Call Crossing, cross the river before we can attack the Citadel. Makes sense. So we need to talk with the Iron Marshal. Taking the Outer Valley. The Scarlet Chorus are struggling with that, and they need to cover our flank. So we need to speak with Fifth Eye and Iron Marshal. Okay, and somewhere around the crossing there's some iron missing. That'll be an exploration-based side quest, I assume. Do we know what the current date? Oh, it's 18 span of swords. Okay, oh, there's a little timer here. We have 8 days until Kairos' Day of Swords. So I'm guessing resting is something we should avoid as much as possible then. Because that's an actual timer right there. What do you mean you haven't heard from Commander Ironcore? It's been a full week. Last we heard Master Reddick said to keep an eye on the northeastern pass that to be coming through there. The mercy of Kairos. We don't have the soldiers to send hunting through the trees for our own damn Earthshakers. Problem? Fatebinder Janda, am I right? I'm Sevius, commander and 3rd generation Disfavored. Specifically, I'm Sevius the Younger. Some folks can't keep track. The rank says commander, but lately I'm just organizing patrols and trying to stay out of the way. You should talk to Iron Marshal if you've something official that needs discussing. What is it you need? I overheard you asking that Earthshaker where the reinforcements are going. Is there a problem? I'm afraid so. Radix, head of the Earthshakers, was supposed to arrive with a group of his most competent spellslingers to help break the stalemate. I don't know what's holding up their arrival, and that worries me. If you were at all inclined to lend a hand, we could use some arcane support on our side. Sure. Northern Clearing unlocked. Good you. I knew that Tunon's agent wouldn't fail us in a time of need. I'll mark the last known site of our Earthshaker reinforcements on your map. Good hunting, Fatebinder. Why has the siege been delayed so long? It should have been over real quick and simple. The first cohort arrived in the valley and went right for the kill, but that was before we knew the Vendrian Guard had sages and that water witch on their side. A bigger problem is the Scarlet Chorus. They eagerly conscript the Vendrian Guard, but I have no proof of this, but it seems they do very little to keep a watchful eye on these drafted tiersmen. They're often sent out on patrol, and we suspect they use that opportunity to escape back to the Vendrian Guard. Every Chorus conscript has a choice, life under Kairos or death under the army's boots. By all means, feel free to cut down those who choose the latter. We won't be offended. See, but... yeah. Just so we don't mistake each other, I know what I'm saying carries an implication of treachery. I'm not making a formal accusation before Tunon's agent. I'm just voicing my gut opinion on the matter. Yeah, everybody's avoiding making a formal accusation, but they're all very obviously accusing, so... the two armies haven't worked together for this whole campaign. Why? Come on, Binder. Seems like asking why beasts stink. The Disfavored are only too eager to deliver Kairos' peace to the Tiers. The Scarlet Chorus bring only mayhem in their wake. You can tell me the Voices of Narat has a plan, and I'll take your word for it. But the Chorus sure seem to blunder around, never moving with purpose as we do. I wonder if we've been fighting the same war, soldier. I've seen Ash yank his precious soldiers away from more battles than he's won. If you want to call that progress, be my guest. Unless we find a way to work as one, I fear the Scarlet Chorus will step in front of Graven Ash's strategies at every turn. As far as I'm concerned, it seems like the Voices of Narat is here to amuse himself, while the rest of us are here to do our job. Tell me about yourself, Sevius? Not much to tell. My father was Sevius the Elder. His father was Sevius the First of his name, lead drillmaster of Ash's first Iron Guard, back when they were the Bronze Guard. I was born into the Legion, and with any hope I'll die in the Legion. The rest you'll hopefully hear about when the storytellers immortalize me. The Iron Guard's the Disfavored High Command, inner circle hand-picked by Graven Ash for lifelong service, tactical brilliance, or dedication to the craft of personal combat. The Iron Guard act as Graven Ash's chief advisors when the Archon is present, and when he's absent they speak with his direct authority. Even the youngest Iron Guard has years of training in the finest iron the forge-bound mage-smiths can create, making these elite commanders nearly unrivaled on the field of battle. These senior leaders are expected to lead from the front of the phalanx. Said that the Iron Guard fear only one thing, dying in their beds instead of in battle. Wow, he was in the Bronze Guard? So your family's been with Ash since before he was with Kairos. Ah, you know your history. Sevius nods with gusto. The blood goes back that far. Not the memories, as I only ever knew my father. My grandfather was just a legend. One of Ash's best warriors back before the Disfavored were reforged in iron. He shrugs. I'm proud of my heritage, but I try not to brag. There are folks who love the Legion every bit as much as I do, but they lack the same pedigree. Bronze Guard? Well, his day and age was a century ago, and they didn't have Kairos' modern luxuries like iron. So back then, the Great General's Inner Council was known as the Bronze Guard. It's a proud pedigree. Thanks, but I try not to think about it too fondly. If anything, every time I screw something up, I wish I wasn't dragging the family name through mud along with me. Fair enough. Alright. Thanks, Sevius. Who else we got? We got, well, there's the merchants. Do you have something different to say now? Nope. Okay, Barrack. Anything? No. Iron Marshal. Don't just cuddle the impact, push back with your shield, take the momentum. Iron Marshal Aranios, field commander of the Disfavored, pounds her fist in the air as she calls out to the warriors on the training field. I set eyes on your opponent's waistline. If you spend more than a glance checking his footwork, you've lost. The Disfavored officer turns to you, adjusting her pale golden surcoat as she clears her throat. First among equals in the Iron Guard, charged with being the duties of leadership, logistics, and training, there's rarely a quiet day for the second-in-command of the Disfavored Legion. Need to stay on top of the troops or their skills will rust. It's for their own good, even if they don't believe it. It's been mentioned you're short on warriors and need help. What's the situation? I have brigades amassing along Placid, Echo Call, and Little Tooth crossings. The Vendrian Guard may be able to hold one bridge, but they cannot hold against a concerted three-prong attack. I have no right to give you orders, but... Her words falter, short cough breaking her flow. But we all died. A Kairos' edict should we fail, so I'm not about to let my pride blind me to the value of good help. This is the second attack on the river line, right? What happened last time? Defeated detail. We carved a bloody path up to the river, but at that point everyone who charged ahead was lost. We had no chorus backup, it was just a few disfavored squads. I can't tell you exactly how they were defeated, but we lost the whole assault team. She shakes her head, letting out a long, pained sigh. We found bodies washing up in the river for days. It's not often the Tearsmen put up such a good fight. It's certainly made us reevaluate the number we'll need to take this valley. Really? Are you sure our scouts didn't give you all sorts of details about the enemy, and you just choose to disregard our warnings? Look, we can pass out blame after the war, only the Oathbreakers matter now. Quite right. Getting our emotions into the mix won't hasten the campaign. What's the value of taking the crossing? We can't just march from here to the Citadel with the Vendrian Guard manning the riverbanks. Fording troops and supplies through even the narrowest points of the river makes us vulnerable to attack, especially since our armor wasn't built for swimming. She points north toward the mountain spire looming on the horizon. If we can take the river, we have a clear march to the Citadel, and Ascension Hall will be ours in no time. So the Disfavored need help? Trying to pour salt on my pride? We left Fort Resolution with 100 on 100, and there have been no reinforcements or reserves. I keep throwing warriors back into reserve battle before they're properly rested. So yes, I need to rely on all our allies, especially since most of our allies are conscripted Tearsmen, worse than useless. If the Disfavored didn't take every opportunity to insult the Scarlet Chorus, perhaps you'd find our help more forthcoming. Shut your snouts, filthy mongrel. I won't suffer childish japes in my camp. Well, you do constantly mock the Scarlet Chorus. The Disfavored have history, pedigree, proper training, all the things these southern conscripts lack. We didn't train for decades to be peers and equals of these traitor Tearsmen. We've lived lives of dedication to Kairos, and the Chorus accepts any fickle coward too fearful to die by their convictions. What you're seeing here is Disfavored bigotry at its finest. I'm somehow at fault because my country wasn't conquered before I was born. Forget that I chose Kairos. Forget that I chose the Scarlet Chorus. Forget that I chose to fight off rapists and killers to earn my place in the army, just for the Disfavored to call me a worthless turncoat to my face. No one gave me a suit of armor I could hide behind. No one issued me a sword and a measure of authority. I took everything that I have and I fight every day to keep it. Fucking northern swine. My frustration was aimed at those in the chorus who accept Kairos lightly. The Disfavored commander withdraws a half-pace, like loyalty were some shifting breeze. Okay. I will assist. Then our plan just might work. The Iron Marshal lifts her gauntlet close to her face, shifting her eyes from you to the metal articulations. We are loath to work with those who do not share our training and our values, but we know that Tunon the Adjudicator selects only the most capable minds for his court, and I trust you will honor us all on the field. Antio will be leading the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barrack of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier standing sentry at the edge of the training field. Before you ask, no, the Forge-bound weren't sloshed on Dappleseed when they fitted his armor. He survived the full force of the Edict of Storms, and this armor doesn't exactly come off. Tactically, it's quite brilliant, but otherwise it's something of a curse. Tapping your helmet twice, Saranil signals to the hulking presence. Barrack, come meet the Fatebinder. The soldier that steps up to you better resembles an amalgamation of rusted blades and mismatched pieces of armor fused into a vaguely human shape. He reeks of sweat, feces, and whatever oil treatment keeps him flexible.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive, and I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
An honor, Barrack.
Likewise, good Binder.
The soldier heaves a heavy iron arm into a salute, his whole body clanging as he wraps his gauntlet against the twisted sheets of metal that form his breastplate.
Eric, is that you under there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well. Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
You two know each other?
No. Oh, that is to say, yes. I'm already as familiar with this ironclad halfwit as I care to be.
She regards Barrack with a mixed look.
We don't have time to trade jabs today, Verse. After the siege, you can throw as many tantrums as you please. I suggest that we remain focused on the mission.
No offense to the mission, but seeing you looking like a garbage heap and reeking of a mass grave is more amusing by far. Did you forget how to don your armor, or did Graven Ash leave you out in the rain?
Barrack sighs, a frustrated growl shaking his iron enclosure of a suit. I don't believe you've been acquainted.
It's challenging enough to experience battle from a courtroom, much less remember the faces of your cohorts. I wouldn't expect you to know me under these accursed blades of rust.
He bangs at his malformed chest armor for emphasis. The Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. Figured an extra hand might help. And more importantly, if my worries come true and the chorus tries to impede the mission, we will have an observer from the court on our side.
Better to work with the Honorable Binder than some chorus children.
He nods to you, his armor creaking as he bends his neck. I ask that Barrack accompany you there to arbitrate the cooperation between his company and the Scarlet Chorus. Echo Call Crossing. Okay. Barrack, you've been without a cohort since the last Battle of Stalwart. It's time we gave you a task more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks in clipped, official tones. Ash has assigned you to the Fatebinder's service. You're to assume this task is ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean the swiftly approaching end of this war. Or when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Barrack regards the Iron Marshal in oppressive silence. That's an order, Barrack. She shakes her head and sighs, returning her focus to you. He can be as stubborn as pulling a spire out of the earth. But he's a good soldier. I hope you don't mind the company. It's an honor to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. Excellent. I look forward to your success in the field. Can't make out the ironclad soldier's expression under his twisted helmet. He merely stares at you. Okay, so... does he have XP? Oh, he does. Let's see here. I mean, it seems like Resolve... oh, Vitality, actually. I mean, he's got 3 abilities that are all potentially... these are both defensive. This is also sort of. Okay, oh, so he's options are Punisher or Sentinel. I think Sentinel is probably more what we need from him. Okay, that's a taunt ability. Let's get that. Alright. Yeah. So I think we have technically 3 options to go to now. Nope, not you. Okay. Select all, please. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we're at the Disfavored camp. Oh, we gotta be careful, actually, because we have only a few days, and... yeah, it's 9 hours to that crossing, for instance. Okay, so we can go back to the ruins, no point in that. We can go to the Scarlet Chorus camp, and we actually have to go through there to get anywhere else, so we will. Echo Call Crossing is there. That's the spire we need to attack. It's not actually a mountain, huh? It's just a really big tower. Alright. Scarlet Chorus have taken residence within the decayed walls of an old fortress. It's currently the base of operations for the Voices of Nerat's campaign in the valley. Oh. Ambush. Path is blocked by a small group of Vendrian guards. You can go no further until you deal with them. Uh-oh. What's up?
That's far enough, Fatebinder.
Doesn't look like very practical armor there, Eb. A woman's voice booms from atop a nearby outcropping. Flashes of aquamarine body paint peek out from under her loose-fitting traveler's garb, and her outfit is festooned in braids and knots of sailor's line. The blue body pigment, bladed staff, and complex braided attire are the traditional trappings of the School of Tides. According to Fatebinder Rogalus, the majority of the school fled before the coming of Kairos. The remainder were last seen during the first campaign in Vendrian's Well. The School of Tides traditionally studies the magic of water and grave light, the art of directing the moon's arcane light into baleful, searing energy. Flanked on either side by warriors dressed in Vendrian guard regalia, the woman leans on an elaborate bladed staff pulsing with arcane energy. A swathe of blue fabric rests draped over her arm. The blue flag is a symbol of diplomacy and truce recognized across most of the known world, and it's a custom the Tearsmen hold dear. To harm another person under the auspices of a blue flag is a grave offense. In both the Tears and in Kairos' empire, the customary punishment is death. Okay, so that's a flag of truce, so I guess we're not fighting.
In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I offer and request a delay of blade. There are matters we must discuss without fear of reprisal.
The woman bows deeply, lowering her head in a practiced display of etiquette. The warriors by her remain in a ready stance, their nerves clearly on edge. In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I will abide by this truce.
As is our custom, we are ready to kill to defend our lands, but we kill only in fair battle. We don't slay our prisoners. We know this isn't Kairos' way, but we must have hope. A few of my kin have gone missing, and though they may have perished, I have to inquire on the off chance they still live. If Captain Tarkus Deimos still lives, we would negotiate for his release.
He really doesn't. I'm afraid Tarkus Deimos is dead.
I see. That is as I feared, but thank you for telling me all the same. I prefer closure to wishful thinking. If I may make one more inquiry, what of Palox Tyrell? Did he survive?
Also, very dead. In fact, I don't think it was even possible to make Palox Tyrell survive. I could have spared Tarkus, but Tyrell, I'm pretty sure, had to die to end the hostage. Maybe I could have talked him down if I'd really wanted to, actually. Maybe, yeah. Well, Palox Tyrell is also dead. She nods slowly, saying nothing for a long moment.
My apologies, Fatebinder. I had a terrible feeling this errand was in vain from the start. I had no expectations that our friends could be saved, as I'm sure the time for swapping prisoners is long gone. But at least I know of what became of them. That'll have to be enough.
Ask a question in return.
We shouldn't be socializing with Oathbreakers.
I will entertain them as best I can. After all, understanding is the only hope we have. What is it you wish to know?
Actually, here's my valid question. Did you kill any of the disfavored prisoners with magic?
That's some sort of trick question? No, we don't kill prisoners, magic or otherwise.
Have there actually been prisoner swaps in the past?
That is our way, Binder. Here in the South, only thugs and bandits kill prisoners. The younger realms may be guilty of constant fighting, but we never slay each other when the battle's long over. We're not about to change that now. As a rule, Kairos' forces haven't been keen on swapping prisoners. But I know our disfavored prisoners aren't prisoners anymore. I just assumed they were swapped for some of our own.
Why resist Kairos?
I grew up without my knee bent to Kairos, and if I'm going to bow to someone, let it be another Tearsman. We've ruled ourselves just fine for centuries, so we'll give our lives so that our sons and daughters might rule themselves.
The younger realms were beset with constant battle. You prefer that to the order of Kairos?
You make conflict sound like a bad thing.
Well, it is actually
yes, the younger
objectively
realms saw frequent battles, but it was never this wholesale slaughter like we've seen of late. No Tearsman ever cast an edict on the soil, or forced prisoners to kill each other, or butchered beastmen tribes.
That aside, only your daughters are truly free in the Tears. Why fight Kairos' equality?
There's freedom, then there's trusting idiots with power.
Oh, straight up
Give a
not
man a
misogyny,
million
opposite of
marauders.
that, but-
He'll lose sleep worrying over his neighbor's 1,000. I prefer my realms ruled by the braver sex. For centuries, we've left the lands to the women and the seas to the men. And we did plenty fine until Kairos came around.
Alright. Don't think we're gonna talk her into submitting to Kairos anytime soon. Who is in charge of this insurrection?
Listen to you. Thinking just like the Overlord wants you to think. There always has to be a person in charge or things don't make sense. Well, we don't answer to anyone. We are each of us sons and daughters of the Tears, and take this task upon ourselves freely. But Captain Tarkus Ari, former Falksman of Queen Vendry and Alanta, is the voice we trust when we seek unanimity.
A relation of Tarkus Demos, then?
Yes. Deimos was Ari's brother. We were certain he was dead, but the captain takes family seriously. So I volunteered to find some answers. And now here we are.
How'd you overthrow the garrison?
I would joke that the voices of Narat left the gate unlatched, but dozens of warriors lost their lives taking the citadel. There was no secret to it. We simply attacked with speed and certainty at a time when the archons were elsewhere in the Tears. The Scarlet Chorus had a rout, and what few disfavored soldiers were present made an impressive showing. But they were surrounded and overwhelmed once the chorus fled.
Well, from the enemy's lips, doesn't sound like the chorus did too well.
Fair enough. But now a question for you. The Edict. I can feel its magic coursing through the air. Everyone can. But those of us enlightened to the currents of magic feel it most. The wording of the Edict. What was it?
I wonder if it would be good to tell her, actually. I'm not sure if it would make the enemy more desperate or less. Like, to tell them our exact definitive objective and timeline seems bad. But by virtue of them knowing... But the moral effect of knowing that victory means that they still die could be substantial. It's interesting call, actually. I think I'm gonna tell her. The moral impact of knowing that they're doomed to die unless... but no, maybe not. Because if they know that... Yeah, no, I think it's I think it would be a mistake, because if they knew they were doomed to die regardless, then what reason would they have to surrender or retreat at all? Of course, they could also just let us take Ascension Hall in order for everyone to live. That's technically an option. That is technically an option. Maybe I'll gamble on telling them. It might make everything worse, but...
In the name of the vaunted North, the will of Kairos should be delivered with blade and hammer, not to the ears of oathbreakers and compromisers.
Burke did not love that.
Curious. You did say all in the valley. So the edict will affect Kairos' forces? This is most unexpected.
Your eyes widen at your words. Yes, that's
That
correct.
is most troubling. So either the soldiers come to destroy and kill us, or the edict does the work. I suppose we should be so honored the Overlord is taking no chances on us.
I'm kind of hoping that they'll panic. At least some of them will panic and try to escape, or that some of them will try to just give us the Citadel in order to prevent everyone from dying.
I've another question for you, if you will entertain it.
Are we really standing here and chatting with Oathbreakers? It's hard to watch. Like cuddling a goat you're going to kill for dinner.
Well, I asked about 6, so ask your
When I
question,
was
Em.
young, my parents told me the Tears were special. and the Overlord's edicts and armies could never touch us. Seems I've been told a hefty sum of lies. So answer this honestly for me, please. Is it true that Tunon's fate binders can smell truth from falsehood?
Dang. I probably shouldn't be honest about this, huh? That's a deliberate reputation we've cultivated, I think. I mean, we're a villain here. We're definitely not above lying. But we don't want to tell a lie that we're going to get caught in. No, not
Thanks
quite
for
true.
that. I could see why you'd want to foster the mystique all the same. The School of Tides would always tell commoners we didn't know how to summon drinkable water. Once they find out, you can't eat in peace.
Alright.
And Kairos' edicts. I have heard the sages speak at length that some of the edicts elsewhere in the world have been broken. How is this?
But it's simply the wording of the proclamation. If there's a clause allowing it to end, then that clause can be satisfied. So, if we take Ascension Hall, then the edict ends.
Ah, so some edicts are forever. The rest are, as long as Kairos has in mind?
Pretty much.
Needless to say, Kairos' magic is unlike anything we've seen in any archon.
Yeah, that's why they're the Overlord.
And one more mildly self-indulgent question, but I simply must know. Kairos, male or female?
Honestly, I don't know.
Really? You don't know either? You work for the Overlord, but you don't know if she, or he, has an innie or an outie?
Would you feel better or worse to know that you lost? Why does it matter?
You speak true. It ultimately matters not. My apologies. The question now seems rather foolish. You must remember, Kairos was just a horror story from distant lands for much of our lives. We have many unanswered questions. In accordance to our most ancient customs, let us depart in honorable accord. May peace find you, Fatebinder.
Forgive, I hope, the questions. The Overlord and his archons used to be things of legend. Now they're everyday maladies, and I'm eager to separate the truth from the lies I've been told by house and guild. She bows deeply, pounding her staff on the ground twice before turning to leave. It's probably a little nicer than we should be, but we shared some useful information with each other, I think.
Can't do that.
I kind of got some information I want. I'm not above lying, but I don't think... I think the risk of being caught in either of those lies I could have told was pretty high. I feel like if I had claimed that I could smell a lie, she would have immediately tried to lie to me or something. The grasslands of the Tiers stretch far throughout the land. Much of it remains uninhabited and unclaimed by any faction. You can make out the faintest outline of a soldier's arm in the bottom of this pond, a victim of a previous battle in the area. Deer. Not very, there's all the buried gems around. Alright, let's go. Thanks for watching, sailors. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like or subscribing. New parts will be up every other day on YouTube, or you can watch live on Twitch. Have a nice day, sailors. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.